I'm going to show you guys how to set up this airship in the video, and I'm going to walk you through the starting procedure as well as troubleshooting if you have any errors. When using the schematic, you have to make sure that you're not going to change the orientation, as this could affect the different textures or block placements inside the ship. Changing it otherwise would probably cause you to have mismatched textures or destroyed blocks or blocks that just don't properly spawn. Make sure that you're going to set the airship down in a space that has a lot of clearance, and if you feel satisfied, just right click. After setting down the airship, hop onto this platform, head towards the cockpit, up these stairs, look for the ladder, climb up, and assemble the ship. Once you've assembled the ship, head back down to the loading deck, towards the platform, and into the holding bay. This is the grabber for the hovercraft. What you want to do is get rope and connect these 4 mounting points. Before you could move the grabber, we gotta activate the ship. So we need to head back inside. Once you're back in the cockpit, turn around and head towards the very back of the ship. This is the engine bay. Inside the engine, we're going to find the lava farm, as well as the rest of the innards of the airship. These 2 fluid tanks close to the entrance are connected to the boilers that power the hot air vents that allows the airship to rise. I recommend that you fill them up with lava. Both sides, please. There may be a chance that the fluid tank isn't properly connected. This is caused by a bug inside the game, and I'm not really sure how to create this, but there are several people who've already reported that this may be an issue. You simply just need to replace the fluid tank as shown to reconnect all the tanks together. Heading towards the rear of the engine bay, you'll find 2 more fluid tanks. These 2 fluid tanks feed into the main boilers. I recommend that you also fill these up with lava, so that you have a bit more headroom before the lava farm runs out of lava. Once the fluid tanks have been filled, head over to the item depots next to the mechanical arms. Per each depot, you want to put down a single bucket and head back out to the main deck. Heading towards the elevator, you'll encounter entrances to the stairs both on the left and the right side. We'll use any one of these to head over to the systems bay. On the systems bay level, there's a hidden door to the left, which leads into the main buoyancy chamber. Here in this chamber, we'll head down and go towards the back to put another bucket in each of these depots next to the mechanical arms. There are 2 of them, one on each side of the ship. Once back inside the systems bay, head towards the rear. Here in the systems room, you may find that one of the comparators may be missing. Just simply replace it. Also, inside the systems room, you'll find 2 barrels. Here, you need to fill up all of these slots except for the last 4. Once done, you can head back inside and head towards the engine bay. Inside the engine bay, head towards the right and activate the windmill labeled 1 windmill to start the ball. Heading back inside, we'll head over to the cockpit to start the engine. In the cockpit, you have two indicator lights on the left and right for engine primer and main power. The windmill we just started, it basically acts as the engine primer. If you turn it off right here, you have to go back into the engine bay to restart it. So once the engine primer light is on, you can turn on the main power. Once the main power is activated, the ship systems are all ready to go. Before we use the ship, we want to set up our display links here. To make linking the displays easier, I've placed Nixie tubes above the cockpit with the corresponding labels. For the altitude and air pressure values, the altitude sensor is located above the airship behind the elevator shaft. To get there, you want to head back to the stairs, head towards the top floor, enter the greenhouse, and go up again. Here, you open the trapdoor above the ladder, where you could find the altitude sensor. Once you've set up the display links, head over to the typewriter and tap A and D. This frees up the blocks taken up by the propeller bearing, which affects the fore and aft trim. And once you've done all those steps, you can now operate the airship. Space for lift, A and D for turn left and right, Q and E for lateral movement, W and S for forward and reverse, and for cruise control, R and F. Also, before I forget to mention, Z is for the landing gear. Back inside the ship, we can go back to the holding bay to raise the grabber. The grabber can carry and hold vehicles of up to 10 by 5 by 3. The grabber is operated by the controller located to the rear. W is to raise the platform, S is to lower it, space bar is to activate the stickers, and shift is to activate the docking connector. I recommend putting away the grabber for forward flight to make sure that the rope doesn't bug out. Other features included are the transponder, the radar, and the warning receiver from Create Radars, and the cameras and monitors from Create Vista. To set up the cameras, simply right-click on them, orient them in the direction that you want them to face, and left-click to lock. To connect the cameras to the monitors in the cockpit, you need to use the hollow cassette and shift right-click. With the assigned hollow cassette, simply right-click onto the monitor to create the connection. The other cameras are located throughout the ship. I've set this one up to point towards the vehicle bay, one on the grabber to point downwards, one behind the vehicle bay to point towards the rear, another one facing towards the front of the ship, and lastly, another one facing the top of the ship, just in case I fly underneath something. Also, don't forget to set up the elevator, which is located above the elevator shaft. And that pretty much covers the setup. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.